See if it goes live on the YouTube. Excellent connection. Thanks. Okay, good. Let's see if I can get out of a scene switcher. Maybe when I updated Godot, not Godot, OBS, it messed up my settings. Probably did. Yeah, it changed. It's really different. I don't even see Visual Studio here. Why is this different now? If window matches, yeah, it's like terrible. Might just change it back to the screen. Yeah, oh well, whatever. We'll just change it back to Dell screen. Alright, so there's a couple things I want to showcase on the game dev side. I really want to actually probably change my stream title to be some PHP, but I'll show you guys what I'm working on. Ignore the terrible current process of this, but we're gonna build a little web app. It's gonna be PHP, I know. And I'm going to use it as a framework for... Let me actually turn down the real volume. That's for me as well. It's a bit too loud for me. It's probably a bit too loud for you guys too, actually. Alright. There we go. Alright, so what we have here, we have Composer set up. We have our view. We're using using Twig from Symfony, do all of our rendering. That'll allow us to have our little templates folder, or you can put in all of our, good old-fashioned HTML. And we're going to be using, as a part of this, Fomatic. Fomatic's a library I've used for a lot of my other projects. It's actually fantastic. It has really good documentation. If we go to Fomatic UI's website, it's got all kinds of wonderful, lovely individual features, including a whole bunch of JavaScript built on top of jQuery for, just making pretty nice reactive websites. And what I want to do is I want to do one for Revere.com, and I didn't want it to be WordPress. I know I could just throw a WordPress site up there, but I was working on my real website and a couple of different tutorials for Godot for setting up, like, get LFS into an existing local Godot project. So, and I want to do a bunch more of these. I want to create a bunch of different guides on my blog. But I didn't feel like sticking it on my real, I want to do more of my, my professional projects, I guess you could call them, whatever you want to call them. All my game dev stuff, I want to move over to Revere. and then use this as more of a business portfolio. That way, if I'm making a YouTube videos and I want to link someone to like, hey, download these config files here, or go here and like read the other version of it. Hey, Pagan, welcome. Then that was the idea, and there was a lot of stuff on and this goes for Galog as well. I wanted to redo the way I route things, so I actually forked my own version of AutoRouter, which is actually a pretty nice PHP router using a lot of regular expressions, and so I could actually create a better mapping system that I can define. And now I'm going to change these now that PHP 8.2 or 3. Anyway, now that we have enum support, I'm going to build in some global enums and kind of redo this mapping class so that the only options you can feed it are those, get, post. I'll get the video exporter later. I just got in and I need like a quick 20 winks to recharge first. I got you. I'm streaming pretty early tonight. I want to do a little bit of everything tonight. And yeah, so with this new router, I have it set up that I can kind of pass it a callable function, kind of like a generic. And anything we bind, I can just do some custom method routing, and by default you can feed it any controller and any method within that controller, and it'll just do it. And to make things a little bit easier, we've created a view and made it static, because there would only ever be one static view. And I also added a instance to the database. So, because before, at least on Galog, and I know I did some ChatGPT and a little bit of research, and the way that I'm doing it for Galog makes sense. Like with every controller, I'm passing in the PDO object, and it's working. You know what I mean? And so by strict dependency injection, right? There must be a database, but then you start really kind of getting into the fact that you're always it's very verbose in the way you do things, especially if you want to be able to automatically do a lot of this mapping in advance. So the way I have it set up now is if I want to create something custom, like if I want to create something called, say, a ship controller, I'm going to give it a view or a render function in what will eventually be a base controller that we can override and do whatever we want in it. You know what I mean? And it'll just go ahead and and be a lot easier to scale, like a little bit. It's a little bit less clean, but for what I'm going to be building here, I'm just building a blog. We're just building a little blog with an admin panel. I'm going to build a block system for it. I put probably like 6 hours into this, and this is from scratch. So I think a lot of the stuff, the big templating system works totally fine for this. And any of our JavaScript we're just including into the footer, and then I can kind of just start building up these individual controllers for kind of what I want, and for like the admin and vice versa. And yeah, that'll be kind of how this will go. We'll see how well I can scale and document this, but anyway, that's my idea. Just, as a developer, it'd be cool to actually develop your own website. I've made so many content management systems over the years, and I have nothing to show for them, other than Galog, which is based on a fork of a system that I was working on originally for PHP, and I just thought it'd be nice to actually turn it into something that other people could maybe use. So I figured VoidPress is a bit of a mockery of WordPress, but I don't plan on making modules to it or anything. It's simply just going to be a science and game dev. It's just going to be something that can be extended for different things. And originally I was going to do some type of static, HTML generator or something that can kind of, bake a whole bunch of stuff out. But I decided, nah, we won't do that. That'll be kind of annoying. So yeah, and I do want to get a dark mode and kind of invert all this stuff and kind of go and create my own little theme. But I'm still going to use Fomatic because its syntax is super nice. They should really have a dark mode just on their whole page, but they don't. I guess technically, actually, I could turn it on here with Dark Reader. Yeah, Dark Reader doesn't look that great for this website. But yeah, so on the game dev front, for those that are watching for the game dev, I will actually show you where I left off with the zone system, because I think that's actually great now. There's still a bug, but I think I've fixed it, you know, or I know what's causing it, and I think it'll be fixed with the So we're going to do a quick demo of the zone system real quick. So we'll just do this side by side. We have our two players. Everything is now working in sync with each other. You can kind of see. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to watch maybe over here as this player jumps in. I'm just going to wait for it to come back around again. Nope. Wonder why I gotta move that line. Nope. Close. And as you watch the player here, right? Player inside the zone is stable. It's not better when like it's not horizontal, but yes, yeah. I can have nested physics zones in one scene. Is the plan. Boom. Now there's still some jitter here from the lack of parenting, right? And because the zones are taking the real position, offset of where the zone origin is when projecting, well, what I call the actors into the real space. There's still a little bit of jitter. That jitter will be kind of taken care of when I'm actually reparenting them, but I'm not right now, as you know, with the physics system, you can't really reparent anything. But this is a visual bug, because if we're going to come back to the game server here while we're watching this, and I'm going to take over both cameras. And so we're just going to take a look. So visually, our actors are here. And because we're on the server, so the issue is just an interpolation issue right now visually with the way that they're synchronized. Because we have the players synchronized and we have the actors synchronized. But in reality, only the actors themselves need to be synchronized and not really the players. The players need to be simulated, but they don't need to be... you know, we really can calculate where the actors are and then synchronize the actors. So if we come back up all the way up, this is where I have it happening right now, just in an area of the map that the player can't see. So I'm just going to show you the smoke and mirrors right now. Right, so here's where the two players are in static space. And then within the static environment, all of their physics are stable. The great thing is when we're doing physics calculations, like a firefight between two players that's happening inside, you know, a zone, it'll be stable. So I have to fix the interpolation issue, and I'll be able to do that by putting some rollback and things on the actors themselves, like, you know, so as long as, like, so how it'll work with the final version of this is all of the input itself will be buffered and the input will be sent to the server. The server will have rollback and interpolation support in driving the physical players. The physical players will be simulated in the real world zone or in the sub zone, depending on where they are. And that data, because each client will have those representations of the players regardless in their own kind of area. But the idea being is we only will only really need to be players will only need to be physically simulated on the server, and their only their really their the properties of the actors need to be synchronized. So that's kind of how it'll work. And then what the server will do is the server will kind of handle multiple zones. So like on the server, there'll be a zone manager. The zone manager knows the volumes of these zones. So as I set up a zone that represents the interior of each ship type, or the zones that represent the physics of a station, I'll define a bounding size for those zones. And the idea then is when the server needs to instantiate a station, or a collection of ships or a bunch of different NPCs or whatever, it can spawn all these zones in and kind of order them, however way it wants. They could all be on top of each other as long as they're not rendered. But just to stay within the limitations of Godot's physics, because there's only so many. We only have. Let me bring this down. So with Godot physics, we only really have in collisions 32 layers, right? So there's only really like 32 layers. And hey, Pure Falcon. And we don't want to be like creating or editing the way Godot creates physics layers for different zones to be able to be overlapping each other. I could like do some type of integrate forces and do a lot of the physics manually and have like different types of lookups, but that would be annoying. If I just make the server stack zones close to origin, we'll have really strong entropy on how physics is processed. But the other great side effect of that is we could put all of these in a star, right? A star in Unforgiven space is massive, and you can't enter a star. You can scoop a star, but there's a certain point where you would just die, And as far as how the game is concerned, there'll be no visibility on any of these zones anyway. So there's really nothing here being rendered or visualized, but the server can at least place them at the origin and run all the simulation at the origin of the server's version of the system. So it becomes very, very, very easy for it to manage. But you could enter a star, but only once. Exactly. Yeah, you can enter a star, but only once. So that's going to be my way of handling it, because the other option, even with Jolt as the default, is I'm going to have the code and build up a lot of the like infrastructure for that, like the way we simulate the physics volumes. And I know we have in the new 4.3.4 4.4 coming up, there's like a hash map of all the scenes and stuff like that. The issue that I have is like Godot's networking by design makes it very difficult for reparenting. And when you do reparent, like you can manually on a client side tell a whole bunch of nodes to reparent themselves. But if they have a multiplayer synchronizer, until the full reparenting has occurred on all clients, so even if you like trigger an RPC to force authoritatively from each client's version of itself to reparent every object, and then of course their synchronizers should still work because the patch should all be the same. I find there's like errors that occur, like it'll like the logs will like it'll spit errors for a few milliseconds or for a few frames while they're at a sync, like while we have a bunch of different you know, spawnable objects that are not within the same hierarchy or not within the same node system. So when you're like reparenting actors or you're reparenting objects from some container to another, it's just very flawed by design. So working around it, you know, there's like everything, right? There's a dozen ways of working around it, but it's finding the way that's going to work for us, right? So when with Unforgiven Space as well, and this is why I really want to design that, I have Universe on Unforgiven Space, and this is my like Universe server. You can, if you have an Unforgiven Space account, you can log into this, right? You can connect your Patreon, and this will connect to Patreon, Universe Game Server, allow, and then it'll come back with our code, which will allow the system to check the rewards and link the rewards. And then you have like my have and a few other things that I was working on with this, but a lot of it is just nonsense. Like it's a good enough system, I guess, just to kind of log in and update your rewards. But I wanted to revamp this. But there's a lot of stuff that yeah. So you know, and until I don't really feel like writing it all in .NET simply because I've PHP is easy and .NET is easy as well, but not as quick as I could probably whip something up. Yeah, I don't think I have like a lot of this stuff inactive. Anyway, I wanted to kind of finish the the web dev side of Unforgiven Spaces rewards and really kind of, I don't know, give it a bit of a polish. Make it more market friendly, I guess. And there's a few things I want to do with that, which I haven't done before, which is, embed a lot of Google, what are they called? Tags and attributes. So we can build up a system that utilizes tags, because you can do tag tables, right? There's a lot of custom metadata types that we can embed to make things more like search friendly, and there's a lot of cool like things they haven't touched when it comes to like how the content's shown, how it's like displayed. One's Open Graph, right? Setting up all the Open Graph stuff, right? Which allows content to be like embedded, in a way that it makes it more market friendly. So thinking about engagement, thinking about like, the tools. Yeah, so just stuff like that. So that's why I really want to kind of, I don't know, like make a reviewer.com be a reality and do a bit of web dev today. For a while, like it's only 8 o'clock, so I mean, I could we could switch back over. I've decided the zone system works well enough that I really kind of want to get it in the game. So I just want to push the zone system straight into the Unforgiven Systems build, and then just push it live. Let players play around with it. It won't be ships when I get it in. I think what I'll do starting, it'll be stations. So just the main stations that you're coming in with their physics zones. The cool thing about this, like there's some wonderful benefits to doing it this way. And that if a zone is static and a zone is being simulated, somewhere else, then a lot of the gravity and things like that can be added at the zone layer, right? Because what is a zone? A zone is just a big area 3D, right, which represents a space, a static area, where we're simulating things. So, in a zone, we pretty much will have all the colliders because we don't need colliders outside of them, right? We don't even need colliders on the players, right? Like on the actor version of the players, there's no colliders. They're not even a character body. They're a node, right? They're just a node that happens to have a mesh and an animation player, and it's just being fed that character data to be visually represented, right? So they're not they're not anything. They're not actually their real bodies are simulating them. So there can be a split between all of the graphical aspect of a player and then the more of the entity aspect of the player, right? Which is the character body itself, like the physics, the rigid body. So that isolation means that like I can actually do a lot of the gravity, or I can extend the zone system to to be also that to apply the gravity to apply effects, right? If there's some type of effects like heat, thermals, things like that, those can now all be area 3Ds within the zone. Because it doesn't really, because that's where the physical body of the player will be. So it's a lot easier to scale. And we don't have to worry about any physics issues when it comes to one of the issues I was having before with Godot physics as well is when we're dealing with entering an area and exiting an area. Because one of the issues I had before was whenever we would enter an area, or sorry, whenever I would disable a rigid body or re-enable a rigid body, Godot's physics system would force a single of on trigger of on body enter, on body exit. So no matter what you did, if you were putting weapons around, if you were taking off components and putting on new components, the second your tractor beam unlocked the component and moved it around, it would re-trigger all the areas, right? Because there's no way of freezing it, non-freezing it without notifying, without the area 3D system having a trigger, having a single fired, and fixing it would be way too much work. But in the zone sense, you enter the zone in the real space, so there's an area 3D that we use to enter the zone, which teleports the player into the zone. And then there's zone exits, right? I wish I could color code them differently. I think that's actually like a super cool. I think that would be an option of something I would actually love to contribute. If we could make collision shapes custom colors, if that was a thing, like to be able to, I don't know how we even do that, but that'd be such a cool Godot quality of life, like when you're dealing with lots of colliders, lots of collision shapes themselves. I don't think there's any visualization. Yeah, I wonder how hard that would be. I wonder does Jippity know? I don't mind swirling. Let's go to Jippity. Training data. Discussions cut off. Right. I like how like they don't admit that anymore. That we just kind of pulled everything on GitHub. I'm actually curious. I wonder, could we actually add that? Because it's editor code, right? It's not a. Yeah, it must be on the object. Yeah, where would I see like where they're rendered? Yeah, see, it's still if I could make it so like speaking of what I was chatting about earlier, if I could just make it not do this emission, like when it disconnects the node and removes it. Hmm. Yeah, I don't see where we actually where we're rendering them though. I knew it. Well, I'm actually squirreled right now, uniform. But there's nothing here about how a shape is rendered. I wonder what ChatGPT know. In Node Editor 3D plugin, look for draw collision shapes. Go through, edit, and the overlay folders need to be fixed. No, it needs to be rewritten, not fixed. Yeah, it should be Node 3D Editor handles the visualization of collision shapes. And then debug geometry, such as collision shapes and other visual aids are rendered. For example, you can find debug rendering logic here of how shapes like spheres or boxes are drawn in a specific color. Wait, what? No, it's not a simple thing. Scene 3D. Node 3D Editor plugin. There's a gizmos. You know what? I think that's actually it. So Node 3D Editor plugin.cpp version. Editor plugin came with Shapecast 3D gizmo. So collision missions are rough triangles, collision segments, rendering server, singleton. Right, so add collision mesh triangles. Like I said, I need all the data to be up to date first, because then the site is officially waiting for me, and it's not right now. There's still like commodities that have few low margins. I think a lot of them are done now. But yeah, scrap seems fine now. Yep, that's good. So when I know we're good on all 4.0, Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did scrap. Like, it's really just looking at these margins, and anything that's over 45. No, that's actually normal. But we're looking for anything that's not 4.0. Yeah, like this is an outlier here, right? Because 40% margin is yeah. So like anything here that's like more than like chlorine, right? So Humboldt mines 3.22. So there's a lot of outposts that are old that we have to go there. And there was but that's how you can tell, right? You like obviously anything you can't buy isn't going to have that problem. 23% margin. Most things are like, you know, best case scenario. That's how you know if it's wrong by the margins. Yeah, you can actually buy processed food. You thought I got them? Well, I don't know. We're also missing some of the stations. I don't know what they're called. Someone was doing a trade route earlier in uniform, and they were going down to those new outposts. I don't know what they're called. We're missing some of those. The new whatever they're called, station things. I don't think we have any of them because I haven't seen any pictures of them. No, I don't think it's pyro. They're like these. They're these new. I don't know what they're called. Uniform warehouses, massive warehouses that you can land ships in. There's a bunch of those missing. Yeah, distros. I'll be right back. I gotta use the washroom. Yeah, we need to find all the missing distros, or check the competition and see if they have the missing distros. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that I want to get the zone system working for the ships. All right, so anyway, let's go back to. I want to see if we can actually. Where are we rendering it? Because we're totally. And lines. Yeah, what's what's actually calling that? They just add solid box. Whenever using just one material for all of the we're supposed to feed it a material. So where are all the examples of this? No reference to add solid box. CPU particles, navigation meshes, probe gizmos, for reflection probes, P gizmo add solid box. I guess for a collision shape, it really depends. But you would figure it would run something like that. Yeah, creating them. So the mesh instance 3D editor. Oh, this is when we create. And we're connecting callables, we create legend proofs. There's a custom Godot build just for this game. There is a custom build for the game Ghost Magic, but it's just to enable 64-bit precision. Collision object 3D plugin redraw editor plugin gizmos for each object. This is it here. So there's a shape material. There's a big swirling right now. Cool. Okay, so we're just using Surface Tool to append the meshes. We're literally just using Godot Zone. So all collision shapes, regardless of what they are just rendered with the shape material. And what is this shape material? It's whatever the gizmo color is. Where is that set to? I don't see anything setting it. Oh, okay. I got it. So it's global definition, shape, collision, shape, color, and here's the actual color, the blue. So they're not unique in any way. And I guess they're actually defined then under editor settings. I don't see it here. Weird. Maybe it is just hard coded right here, and then that's it as a part of the scene tree. So it just creates one for the contact color and the shape color. So if I wanted to do custom colors, I'd actually have to define a different set of materials, and we'd have to override. We'd have to actually do a check. It should be annoying. Yeah, see, there would have to be a custom gizmo or a custom type. So if I want to actually do this more appropriately for zones, or have different properties like zone exit and zone enter, I would have to create a custom shape object. I could probably do that and see she's C sharp really. I don't know if there's a custom redraw override. No. I was hoping they would really get override. It's funny, we can actually get the array mesh of a shape. Isn't there an inverted by default? A little bit lighter. Let's find my branding folder. This is a crazy looking physics sound. It is a very crazy looking physics sound. How's it going, Pixius? Mm-hmm. Logo main. And we went to find a sample. I think I have those fonts as well. It goes. We're doing some web dev today. I want to remake Revere.com using a new system that I want to make myself. So I'm creating a little WordPress competitor called VoidPress. And it's just going to be like a block-oriented, markdown only, kind of a blog system that I can kind of use to post my own crap. Something to test, and I'll deploy it here on Revere.com, which is nothing right now other than some placeholder crap. You mean between like the WordPress.com guys and the WordPress itself, or there was this other company? That's not really WordPress. They just use WordPress. I don't know. WordPress is terrible, man. So anyway, yeah, I kind of started off, whipped up a really nice little system here, rewrote a new router for it, and you know it's pretty much set up to. I wanted to redo it differently than I did my own website, I want to use a static class for the database with an instance. Like it could be an instance of it, but it has a static instance that could be accessed. And you know, I want it to like automatically bind all of the controllers to it. So in future, I'll just create a new custom controller and whatever methods I want to have on it. And the view renderer is now completely decoupled, and it should be pretty you know, like straightforward. And I changed on my twig templates to use the twig syntax for it, and just made it a little bit simple. And all we're using is Symfony twig and auto loads. Very it's gonna be a very simple website. That's gonna be the only dependency is twig itself. And I'm gonna, you know, just simple database, simple media manager, and you know, put in some SEO kind of stuff. I don't know. It's I just want to make a blog, like, you know, and I've been writing all this stuff for years, so it might be nice to put it under a product, put it under something, you know, it has a name. That's why I kind of went with the whole void press thing. So that's the idea. Create something. I don't plan to make it extensive, or to create some type of base module where you could go into PHP and extend it and make something. You know, like, I don't know if there's any viability in that. But I want to use a system that I had created for my articles on Galog, where I can combine you know, hard-coded content with blocks. But because everything's made of blocks, we can reorder things. So we could do like text block, gallery, you know, and kind of like reorder them, and, you know, for a blog it'll work with different articles. Yep. So yeah, that's the idea, right? So I could do like a admin controller. This is an idea. And just feed it a new template. And then all I should have to do is add a route to it. Now I'm in an admin panel. And then I could do all my logic inside the admin controller. Like, you know, check the, you know, like load up, check the definitions. Oh, that is working. Hey, Sir Leroy, how's it going? Hope you're going. Hope all is well. Been dying for base billing to come Mutant Star Citizen. Yeah, it's probably going to be another while, but we'll get there eventually. At least a decade, right? Yeah, as hacky as it is, I really like doing it this way. Cat says hi. What are these a suck? Where are you a suck? You need food or something? Hmm? Or are you just here to look at the camera? See? There's people on the internet. Let me go find something to do. We can use tiny text for now. Now, how does this know? Oh, it does auto pass it. Yeah, that's right. Can bind parameter. What does it bind value? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're preparing the SQL. Use this up here. And then bind parameters. If we're executing, then it's a fetch. Oh, yeah, it's a prepare immediate. Oh, you're right, because we're doing one. Um, age about. Main panel, main pages. Bum, 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 bum. Do you have any sort of synchronized time for the game? Nothing custom outside of how Godot's internal networking stack currently does it. There's a new one that I was looking at called hang on. Yeah. That's one, not the one I'm using. And this is the one that I'm prototyping. The Godot roll, like this one was only recently ported. I went through this the other day in great detail. For how it actually does the synchronization for time. But the only thing that sucks about this particular library over Netbox, like this one does a better job, but this one is pure GD script. And I would rather it be in .NET if possible. So I might actually like port this. Because I do like the way it does synchronization. It uses like a network tick system. But it does prediction on the input level too, like where input is coming in straight to the server. But it's just like the way it does things is kind of weird. Like it still uses scene groups and creates an entire like layer of synchronized properties on top of what's already there. Trying to figure out it was moving from int to line for the server time, just to not have to deal with resetting back to 0 every 2 days or so. Having the in the netcode in that library, everything is in ints. I don't know what they do when it comes to like resetting. No, why is it not loading? It should be loading like about. If we're empty or no, do I need to get a lasso out to catch me a squirrel or net gun? I feel so bad. I don't think anyone feels super comfortable dealing with yeah, we like we're passing in a slug. We didn't know the slug. If it's empty. Oh. There. Ages ago. Cool. Networking is hard, but fun and rewarding. I think I need a while on this. Actually, let's just early return. I don't know why I'm not. If we don't execute, early return. Otherwise, the query is totally fine. And we're good. Well, man, probably should go to sleep. Yep. Page return. Yeah. So am I not getting any of the data? Page text, page title, page ID. Yeah. Page is the page. Render array data. Hey Rev, can I add to click up to lock price updates if user's version is not current one? Maybe they should lock price updates. I don't know what you mean. Shouldn't it be reporting it on that ID? Yeah, we're not getting this page. Sent to Twig for some reason. Even though we are, like, it's there. I mean, like, there it is. Oh, because it's protected. I don't have methods on it. There's no exposed. Yeah, we just have our load function. That's it. Dynamic version not current should return an error when you're. But what if they want to report old data? I don't know. Could be an inverted container. I don't know why it's not inverted. I'm gonna span the segment. I mean, we could do that uniform. I'm wait in the stream here a little bit. Well, this is a test uniform because I want to refactor all of Galog's modules to be kind of controllers. Because what's happening now is I have all these like includes, these I don't know what they call them. They could be called modules, but I want to classify them and not have to like manually have to create like a custom module for each aspect of the site. Yeah, I'm gonna bind videos with I don't know what that means. Um. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I can do that. Where's Concat, but yeah, it's better. Cool. Oh, cool. You died?
Ég földkapuinínak csukódnak, vonnak. Alright, guys, it's 10. Getting tired. I'm gonna get ready and raid someone. Tomorrow after work, I think we're going to go back and keep focusing on pushing the. Where are we? We'll do a bit more work on this house stream, and then on the Godot side of things, we'll see if we can actually get the build up to date. What is open? Something is open and stopping me from moving my camera. Some random Godot window. Where are you? Where are you, random property window? There you are. Alright, I'm gonna find someone to raid. Stop it here on YouTube.